أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear members who have managed to log on this virtual platform, I welcome you to day 4 of our first camp. We think that continuously, if we continue engaging like this, we'll be able to impact so many people in the field of dawah and other ways. So inshallah, we want to take this opportunity to thank you so much for honoring our invitations. And we think, inshallah, if we continue like this, we will be able to, to make differences in many lives of the people. Before we continue, I want to invite our brother Achmed from Suriname to make for us some Quran citations before we can start the session, inshallah. Brother Ahmed.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, dear brothers and sisters, for this opportunity. My name is Ahmed Ahmad Pitono. I am from the country of Suriname.
Yes, please continue with the recitation, please.
Okay, thank you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم أو تخفوه يحاسبكم به الله فيغفر لمن يشاء ويعذب من يشاء والله على كل شيء قدير. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. صدق الله العظيم.
Barakallahu fikum, Brother Ahmed from Suriname. Thank you so much for that beautiful recitation. We are going directly into our presentation, and today's presentation is going to be the charismatic leader, Omar bin Khattab, radiallahu anhu, an outstanding case. And to present to us this topic is going to be our brother, Ustaz Muhammad Asim Alavi. He is an educational consultant, a trainer, writer, and a translator in 3 languages, English, Arabic, and Tamil. He's an editor, the Trend monthly magazine published in Sri Lanka. He's the director of Ideal Women Academy Sri Lanka. He's the chairman, Adams Speak Consultancy. He is a founding member of the Seredib Institute of Research and Development in Sri Lanka. He is also a founding member of the Asian Federation of Muslim Youth in Malaysia. He's a well-traveled person. He has visited almost over 30 countries, of course, attending conferences and making efforts here and there. He has published widely both books and in journals. He's really a very grounded person who we must listen to because he's very resourceful in the area where he's going to talk about. So allow me welcome our Ustaz Muhammad Asim Alavi to speak to us. At the end of the session, of course, we will be, as usual, having our Q&A and more reactions that may arise from our audience. So, Ustaz Muhammad, please take up the floor, inshallah.
Brother, he's joining in a while.
It's joining, right? Okay.
Ustaz Asim is basically from Sri Lanka, but he's joining us today from Turkey. He had been to Pakistan and studied here and attended some training courses in late 1980s. He also helped us get connected with the Muslim community of Seychelles while he was working there. So he's a very resourceful and active our personality. We are honored to have him here. He will join us shortly.
Okay, inshallah, as maybe is joining, can we have some volunteer to give us some more recitations as the presenter is coming in? Yes, as Ustaz Muhammad is preparing, this audience is that you are going to talk to is an audience that you know is coming from around 60 countries all over the world, and it is having people who are engaged in dawah, mainly in the students arena, but even outside because dawah does not end at students level. So we are having a representation from around the world. So as you're presenting, since now you are a very traveled person, you may make so many cases here and there so that all the participants can be engaged, can feel touched wherever they are. I hope maybe by now I can say, I think you're ready now. So Ustaz Asim, I think now that you are sharing the screen, you can start right away to make your presentation.
Okay. Let me share the screen. Where's that? It doesn't appear. I don't know where is my screen.
We are only seeing your desktop.
My desktop, there is a PowerPoint presentation, PPP.
Yeah. It
There's a
is
PPP. Yeah.
the very last one. I think you need to open it.
Where is that?
It's about the
Okay, wait.
charismatic. Yeah, now it open.
Yes, please give me a minute. Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
Can you, can anyone else share? This one?
Yeah, it is.
It is there, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. But I can't see that here.
If you send it to me, I will operate from here if you want.
Where is that? I just open it now, but it's not.
You canceled it.
Should I start slideshow? What?
Yeah.
Slideshow is there from the beginning. And can you see that?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So should I share it again?
Yeah, you can go on. We can see.
Oh, you can see it. Fine. Alhamdulillah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Extremely sorry for the 5-10 minutes delay. You know, I have to organize things related to these technical things. My name is Asim Alavi. I'm originally from Sri Lanka, but now based in Turkey. By the grace of Allah, I extend my appreciation and gratitude to the organizers of this event, and it's really an honor on me. Inshallah, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this presentation gives some enlightenment and benefit to the participants. So my topic is the charismatic leader. Charismatic leader is with a special focus on Sayyidina Omar radiallahu anhu. I have studied in an in-depth manner his biography, and also I have written 3 books on this subject. One in Tamil, Sri Lankan language, and 2 in English. The third one is still under process. Inshallah, that will be published soon. Both 3 of them are giving special focus to Sayyidina Omar's charismatic leadership. So that's why I put the title as Omar radiallahu anhu as an outstanding case. Charismatic leadership qualities, I mean, not everybody will benefit. There are people who are born into certain nature that produce them, that nature produces them as charismatic leaders in their future life. So let us go to Max Weber. What is charisma? He says a certain quality of an individual's personality by virtue of which he is set apart from ordinary men and treated as endowed with supernatural, superhuman, or at least specifically exceptional powers or qualities. This is explanation. Why people treat them as supernatural, it is not because they receive wahi or they are supported by some angels along with them. It is not, they are not superhumans, but they are ordinary humans. But because of the charismatic qualities they possess, they are easily differentiated, distinguished from rest of the general public. They produce amazing results. They produce wonders in a society that has lost hope. That's why they are distinguished from rest of the people. They possess exceptional powers that, the ordinary people can't imagine what power this person possesses. So they are so extraordinary, they are so amazing that their quality attracts people. Charm, they have the charming effect. So I will go for maybe, I think, 15 or 20 minutes. Then if there is any discussion, we can engage. Inshallah, if there is benefit, we can benefit together. Here's the next slide. Okay. Fine. Charismatic leaders are not born in ordinary environment. It is not in their nature. Charisma does not grow in a person who lives a life of comfort, life of ease, a life of, no challenges. That kind of environment doesn't produce a charismatic leader. For example, if you say Nelson Mandela, it is the crisis that brought him, the social crisis. And if you look at, for example, Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan, he was son of a coast guard. His father was a coast guard, and he was brought up in underprivileged neighborhood in Istanbul, not the elitist neighborhood in which most of other leaders were brought up. The situation with Nelson Mandela is the same. He himself said, there are so many things about him. He talks about himself. That I was attracted by my father's stubbornness, his rebellious fairness. He was fair, but rebellious and also stubborn. Man was fair, but stubborn. So these are the kind social environment that produce charismatic leaders. And we can see in the life of Sayyidina Omar. He himself said that I was tending my father's sheep. He was a very hard, very tough and stubborn man. He always used to beat me. If I didn't do things, he beat me. He used to beat me. So this kind of environment creates a kind of rebelliousness, stubbornness. Stubbornness is very essential for charismatic leader. If you are not stubborn, the way you use is different. But stubbornness is essential. For example, if you take Adolf Hitler, he was a charismatic person, but his stubbornness and his radicalism was used for wrong reason. Ariel Sharon was a charismatic leader, but that was used for killing people, destroying humanity, right? So aristocratic families and political families might have produced charismatic leaders, but they are, such instances are very rare. Very rare. some political families produces charismatic leader. They produce charismatic leaders, but mostly those charismatic leaders, they don't remain in the aristocratic families. They go out, they single out themselves and stay with the common man. So this is very important. The tough environment. A person who lives in a tough environment, nowadays, our focus is on Africa. We have Paul Kagame and the man in Gambia, all these leaders. Nowadays, the world is focused on Africa. So all this, their rejectionism, they reject French, they go out of the system. They talk things that normal other leaders don't talk. So aristocratic families don't produce, but if they produce, that is a rare thing. Right. Charismatic leader, I'm talking about, everything is about Sayyidina Omar. If I talk generally, you should understand that this is about Sayyidina Omar. Not a king. Once a strange idea came into Sayyidina Omar's mind, and he asked some of the Sahabas, by Allah, I do not know whether if I'm a caliph or king. If I am a king, it's a serious matter. And then some of the Sahaba, one person among the Sahaba told him, there is a difference between them. I mean, a king and a khalifa. A khalifa does not take anything except rightfully. And he does not give anything except rightfully. And you are like that. Alhamdulillah. A king oppresses the people, taking from one person and giving to another person, because nobody can question a king. A charismatic leader is a people-oriented man, a servant of the people. Omar was like that. Omar, he was, look at the situation during the Ramadi, the great famine. Sheikh Dr. Ali Al-Salabi says in his book, Omar, by the way, try to watch Omar the Great. There is a series of MBC, Saudi television series, Omar the Great. It is in Arabic, in English, in many languages. Try to watch that. You will have very broad understanding of the charismatic leadership that Omar possessed. Sheikh Salabi says, Omar during the crisis of famine, that Ramad, he became very thin. He stopped eating meat, ghee, that time, so those things are luxury. Honey, ghee, the oil, the butter, he refused to eat, because first I want to clean this mess. I want to create an environment where people will benefit, people will, the hunger will be eradicated, then only I will eat. So he became very thin. And what he did, he brought thousands of camels of goods from Egypt, he solved the problem. Because he's leader of the people, servant leader. So this is a distinguished quality. He's not a master, he's a servant of the people. He always identifies himself with the people. So this is a distinguished quality. It's This relationship is not a relationship of masters versus servant. It is a relationship of the collective of people, a group, a jama'ah of people, and led by a group of people led by the best among them. This is the difference. Who is also a servant, who identifies himself as a servant. Right. Then, self-esteem. Umar was a man of self-esteem, a great man of self-esteem. You know, you can see many leaders in the Muslim world, they don't have self-esteem. They are, you know, try to show to the West, they are, I'm talking about political leaders. We can apply these principles to a leader, you know, in a mosque, or in a leader in a social organization or society. Those who are not possessing the quality of self-esteem, they can't lead in an effective way. They, you know, they surrender. They easily surrender. They give up when challenges come. When they face challenges, they give up. When there's a crisis, they try to run away. And very importantly, and a special quality of a person of self-esteem, it's a great treasure. This quality Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted, instilled in human nature, it's a great treasure. Such a person always inclined to display his boldness. You know, it's not showing off. Such a leader doesn't show off. People may misunderstand, misinterpret that this man is just a show-off case. No, it's not that. He likes to show because of his cause. And he likes to show his boldness and grandeur, and also the power of his cause. He wants to show he's powerful. Omar showed this. You know, Allama Iqbal said, if anybody asks me what is the most historic, most outstanding achievement in Islam, I would say, this is Allama Iqbal said, the conquest of Persia, Naharawan. Why? Omar opened, he realized, Sayyidina Omar realized, opening and conquering Persia is very important. It's a very crucial achievement for the Ummah. So he put a lot of efforts. If you read his biography, you will see that he puts a lot of efforts. He invested a lot of resources to conquer Persia. Once Persia was conquered, the whole world of civilization were conquered, came to Islam. This is what Allama Iqbal said. So when they went, they were surprised. Before that, Arabs were, you know, tending to camels, you know, they are opening places, but they didn't go out. They didn't go international. It is only Persia that opened them the world, opened the world to them. So there are people who do not wish to display their strength because they are timid. There are some leaders who are timid. They like to lead from the rear. But a charismatic leader is not like that. He's always in the front. He always try to display his grandeur and the power of his cause. This is what we see in the person of Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. See, it's a self-esteem. We should treat this as a dear treasure that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has instilled on human nature. Okay, there we should differentiate between charisma, arrogance, and arrogance. Charismatic leader, outwardly, he looks like an arrogant person. Even Sayyidina Umar, some people thought he's an arrogant, but he's not. He's a very cool. He's soft. When he's with people, he's a soft man. He's not arrogant. Charisma is not arrogance. They are contextual people. They don't talk fancies. They don't speak from their whims and fancies. They don't daydream. They are very realistic. They talk only what they can achieve. They are realistic people. So a charismatic leader, as I told you, I'm talking about Sayyidina Umar, don't forget. He's contextual, he's thoroughly contextual, and also shrewd. He's not a fool. He might not laugh. Some charismatic leaders, their faces are not smiley. They're very serious. Some are smiley and also serious. Right? It's not a frowning. They don't frown at people. They're very serious, but outwardly, some people think they are, angry. It's not. They are not angry. They are seriousness. It is their faces. Signs of their faces are signs of seriousness, not anger. So they are shrewd. They cannot be cheated. They cannot be fooled around. You can't play around with them. They know what they are doing. They are where they go, what they want to achieve, and they build their strength on the emotions of their followers. There is a difference between emotions and intellect. So these people, they build on the emotions of their followers. Emotional strength is very important for them. There's their foundation. That is their investment. They give serious attention to the followers' emotions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says about the Prophet, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Harisun alaykum wa bil mu'minin ra'ufur rahim. He's so much attached, compassionate with you, and he's concerned about you, and his attachment is very, very close with you, with the movement, the believers. They are people of principles, but not idealistic. There are people with philosophical type. They are not philosophical type. They are down to earth people. This is what we see in the person of Umar radiallahu anhu. We had the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The foundation was done for the Islamic Ummah. Then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu came. He stayed there for less than 2 years. And then came the time of Umar radiallahu anhu. The whole system changed. If there was no Umar, we wouldn't have lived it now. It's just for the sake of argument. Right? So this is the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did one job. Abu Bakr fulfilled part of that job, and Umar came and transformed. So this is what we see. So contextualism is very important. A leader, charismatically, Umar didn't, Umar radiallahu anhu was not very strict, very rigid on certain previous rules. A charismatic leader always ready to change. This is what we see. On many occasions, even in his first statement, policy statement, he says, I'm ready to change. I was this before, now I'm ready to change. I was stubborn, I was, unchangeable, but now I'm ready to change. So charismatic contextual leader is a person who is ready to change. You know, human qualities, no leadership comes from Allah. It is we who create our leaders within ourselves. Our qualities, it can change. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created certain natures, instill certain temperaments in our personality, in our nature. So it is we who change ourselves through training. So leadership comes through training. Right. Man of promise and action. This is very important. This is outstanding quality of Sayyidina Omar. This is what we said when he proclaimed that if a dog dies out of thirst on the Euphrates river bank, I'm responsible. I take responsibility for that. Right? So why he said like that? Because he has confidence. A man of promise, he's absolutely, a charismatic leader is absolutely courageous and lives in high levels of self-confidence, not normal level. He gives promise. Some leaders don't give promise because they are not confident about themselves. They're very careful. If they give promise, they are afraid of themselves. They say if we give promise in public, we should fulfill, because nowadays, if you give a promise in the public, what will happen? The media will record. After 2 years, they will replay it. So Omar was not like that, because he trusted himself. Of course, the help came from Allah. Spiritual bond was there with him, but it is through his human effort that he achieved so many things. Okay. A charismatic leader, he promises, and if he couldn't fulfill his promise at a given time, he seeks excuse. He justifies. He gives reason and justifiable reason for his inability to fulfill his promises. That is a good quality of a leader. This is very important. Ghira. Umar radhiyallahu anhu possessed this in abundance. Ghira is what we can translate it as protective jealousy. In the modern diplomatic jargons, you don't find this ghira. They always, as I mentioned earlier, they always look for politeness, diplomacy, not hurting people in the public, but they hurt. They do all kind of gossips and riba within their circles. But in the public, when they come to, they speak polished language. Of course, a Muslim leader, a leader like Omar also like that. He didn't hurt people by insulting, humiliating. That's not their character. But ghira is there. A person of ghira, it's very difficult for him to give up or surrender. Just let me read this out. The Omar policy statement. I have been appointed as your leader. So understand that my harshness has become less, and it will only be applied to the wrongdoer and the oppressor. I will not allow anyone to oppress or transgress the rights of the others, but I will put his cheek on the ground and place my foot on his other cheek until he submits to the truth. In contrast to that former harshness of mine, he was a harsh person, right? Harshness is not it's not charisma. It's not part of charisma. Harshness repels people. Charisma attracts people. So what I will do, I will former harshness, I will lay my own cheek on the ground before those who are unable, those who are humble and modest. So this ghira is important when dealing with, for example, negotiations, tough negotiations. I just want to quote Nelson Mandela. He said about Palestine, when Yasser Arafat signed the Oslo Agreement, that is the day Palestinian struggle has lost its vitality. Because there's no ghira. That man didn't possess ghira. He was a great fighter, freedom fighter. But later on in his life, when he was put into pressure, he lost that ghira. So ghira is very important. Okay, this is upright, never surrender. Upright position, always upright, always a person of honor. And this is connected with radicalism. Radicalism is not always bad. There are certain positive qualities in radicalism. Radicalism, a radical can use his radicalism for bad, to achieve bad ends, miserable ends. He can use it for destructive ends. But it has a lot of positive aspects. So we can categorize the radicals into three. Number one, those who remain stubborn in their radicalism. They are not ready to change. They're always radicals. They always hate people. They're people of hatred and revengeful. They are always revengeful. And they reject all the opportunities to change themselves. Oh, these are the people, you know, end of their life, their life ends in a lot of miseries. This is a totally different story. So this is one group. The second category is open for reform. They use in their early stage of their life, for example, when they were young, they use their radicalism. They adopt radicalist approaches, but when they are exhausted, they couldn't achieve things, and you know they dig a mountain and come out with a rat. So they become very tired. They exhausted. They lose hope in life. They lose interest. Earlier they were radicals and stubborn, but when they realize this behavior doesn't make any change, that doesn't make any difference, that doesn't bring any results, they stop there. And they return. They go backward. They don't go to they go to a life of aloofness. They withdraw from social life. So this kind of radicalism is not productive. The third category is the most productive radicalism. This third category is similar to the second, but only difference, what distinguish them is the positive quality they possess. They become, after realizing that their radicalism, extremism has no benefit, they didn't bring any results, what they do, hello?
Yes.
I think I lost my headphone. Is it clear now? You have been listening, or
Yeah, we can hear you.
earlier what was that?
We can hear you.
Okay, fine. So this category, the third category, is the most outstanding and it's a noble category. They become very positive in their attitude, and they vigorously involved in social reform. They don't get tired. They don't exhaust. They don't lose hope. So this is the people who can change, who make great changes in the society. This is what Sayyidina Omar. He was radical before Islam. He was radical in Jahiliyyah, radical in Islam. But his Islamic radicalism he used for constructive services. So these are three categories, and the third category is more important, and the most important thing. And the spirit of radicalism, we shouldn't discourage people to destroy that. It has to be there. Breaking into a leadership is a charismatic quality. You know, very little instances that we find in the life of Sayyidina Omar that he broke into leadership and captured by force or persuasion, not by force, not necessarily by force. Only instance that we can, we can see that draws our attention is his timely intervention in resolving the crisis of Khilafah in favor of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. It was the incident of Saqifa bin Bani Sa'ida, right? He intervened. There was a serious crisis. The Ansar wanted leadership for them. Muhajir wanted leadership for them. And he saw that this is not the time for talking about, because the Prophet ﷺ is still not buried. So it is not time for that. So what he did, he intervened at the right time, and he broke into that. He broke all the protocols, whatever people were thinking, all these things, and he took the hands of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu and he gave bayat. That was Omar. So he possessed this nature. When after Abu Bakr, the crisis of leadership, he didn't ask for leadership. He didn't demand. But he possessed that nature. That's the understanding we should have. Breaking into leadership is a charismatic quality. There are many leaders in the Muslim Ummah. Later on, we can take examples, many examples. They realized that I possess the qualities, then I have the right to demand for the change, demand leadership. This is what we see in Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam. He observed that he possessed the certain leadership qualities that he can contribute for the successful administration of the treasury. So he demanded from the king from the ruler that you appoint me to the treasury, I will, I'll manage that post efficiently. Right. Re-establishing honor. Honor is an exalted quality instilled in human nature by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's an exalted quality, right? Honor and self-esteem, if we don't have that, there's no difference between us and any other low-level creatures. Honor, for example, in some societies where there are large level of class differences, some people don't have honor, right? So they think their destiny is to be subservient to the upper caste. So there is honor, but that honor is suppressed in their mind. It doesn't come up. So the natural quality of honor is the fertile grounds in which leadership qualities can be planted, sown. And then ethical egotism. Egotism is wrong. We talk about egotism, ananiyat. Ananiyat is wrong. But there are certain qualities that, you should have ananiyat. You have to show yourself. If you go to, for an example, an interview and you say, okay, I don't know, I don't say, I'm very humble. And, I might know this job. I might know this position. I might know this little bit of this. Then nobody will accept you. You should. So this is where egotism is essential. This is where egotism comes to force, right? So Omar who possessed this honor, for re-establishing honor, you should have egotism. If you are not egoism, if you are not egoistic, you will not have that the urge for establishing honor. Right? This is what we say. We see in the person of Omar anhu. Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, we felt a sense of pride when Umar became Muslim. Why? Because we could not circumambulate Kaaba and pray until Umar became Muslim. They were doing it secretly. So Umar re-established honor. When Umar became Muslim, he fought with them, them means the Quraysh, and until they left us alone. Then we prayed and circumambulate the Kaaba. This is what Sayyidina Abdullah bin Mas'ud said. So re-establishing honor, when a society descends into the lowest level of hopelessness, despair, a leader emerges from the society, not from a royal family or palace, emerges from within the society, and he talks things that infuse motivation, passion, and passion for work in the people, infuse courage, and this way he established honor. And he himself showed this by his own action. So this is what we see in the person of Omar anhu. He's always upright. And he said, our honor comes from Islam. Right. wasp or bee. There is a difference between a wasp and a bee. A wasp always carries venom in his sting, right? Generally, is people confuse between charismatic leader and autocrat. So sometimes a charismatic leader is powerful. He always argue, fight for his right, fight for the rights of his people, and he doesn't give up. It is not easy to convince him. So people, and he, above all, he rules with a grip, with a firm grip on the people. Charismatic leader rules over his people with a firm grip. So we can call it benevolent grip. I have a book on this particular subject, benevolent grip. I talk about this charismatic leadership.
Ustaz, I think we may need to wind up the presentation in the next 5
Okay,
minutes.
fine. This is the last one.
Okay, inshallah.
Okay, so this is one. Jazakumullah khair. So B is not a wasp. People may describe a charismatic leader as autocrat, arrogant, authoritarian, despotic, aggressive, intolerant, and paranoid, but it doesn't apply to him. But Jazakumullah khair. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Barakallahu fikum, Ustaz. Thank you for taking us through the life of our charismatic leader, Omar bin Al-Khattab. I think our audience, you have been following attentively. Time is now for us to be able to share from that end how you have had the presentation, things that caught your attention, any clarifications that you may need, and some kind of contributions that you wish to make. So I think you can be able to raise your hand and we will be given the opportunity to speak to us, inshallah. I can see, yes. Sheikh Muhammad Jabir, I think you are the first. I think you can. Yes, you can unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam.
Brother Asim, this is Jabir from Eastern Sri Lanka, from Katangudi. You may heard about me and you know me as well. I'm very glad to communicate with you via this platform. And indeed, it's a great honor to listen to your lecture on Khalifa Omar, especially the most characteristics which need nowadays for the so-called Islamic movements. That's what I feel, because there are no decision makers, no charismatic leaders, as far as my poor knowledge concerned. And in fact, the way of presentation was very much attractive. And barakallahu fikum, wherever you are, brother Asim Alavi. Jazakallah khair, barakallahu fikum.
I'm in Turkey.
Yes, I think it was a compliment. I think we shall go right away to Brother Hassan Valley. You can unmute yourself.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Very inspirational. I've also been writing on the life of Hazrat Umar al-Anhu and the other Khalifas, so I've learned quite a bit, but there is some observation as well. And in terms of qualities, there are those, like we said, Hazrat Umar al-Anhu had anger, there's desire, and within the nature, the fitrah of a human being, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put the itidal, the balance.
Yes.
So we can see this very beautifully, because Hazrat Umar al-Anhu one moment walks with a sword in his hand on the way to Nauzubillah to assassinate the Prophet ﷺ. He stops by his house, and that anger now becomes balanced. So he has the right anger, to go there, face his demon, and he accepts Islam. And that anger then later is used for the benefit of Islam. So here you find Hazrat Umar, who could not look after sheep, is now becoming a leader of a nation, and he walks the streets of Medina at night with the greatest of humility, which you would not find. A type of ego as well. Ego in the responsibility that he was placed upon. What a beautiful concept. Alhamdulillah. Same Hazrat Umar is the person that could not reconcile at the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, right? There is no comparison between him and the quality of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, because he was a man more close to the divine. But Hazrat Umar who says in his life that if there's ever a moment that he could regret, was a moment that he showed some opposition at Hudaybiyah. And he looks at Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq as an epitome of humility. So that also shows greatness in part of Hazrat Umar anhu. Yes, he was a great leader, and there's a lot of lessons to learn. And he showed us another good quality is that we could go out and learn. He brought the Persian, the Roman way of administration and all that in the Khilafat. So the Khilafat increased. There are a lot of things, the channels, the water system, the air, the ducts, the plantation, rotation of everything else. He brought it outside. So Muslims are not confined. But I think the greatest part is that the Prophet ﷺ gave a beautiful example of him, that if there was a Nabi to come after me, it would be Umar anhu. Because he's Hazrat Abu Bakr, because Hazrat Umar, I'm getting confused. Because of his humility and his uprightness, his decisions were always like the decisions made in Jannah. So Alhamdulillah, Nur ala Nur, you have taken a monumental challenge, and you've taken those inequalities that can be viewed as being proud and anger and all that, but we've also able to know the beauty of it. It requires the balance. Jazakallah. Allah Ta'ala give you a lot of jazak khair and continue with this noble work.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that is the beauty of Omar. You know, because he was radical, and that radicalism was, you know, it was used positively after becoming a Muslim.
Alhamdulillah.
The same thing.
But don't you think that is the beauty of our Islam?
Yeah,
That
exactly. That, yeah, you know, this is the moderation.
The moderation
you
of
know,
the middle path that Allah Ta'ala
Yeah.
speaks about. And I think what Hazrat Umar did to the world, that it's the same phrase I keep up with it. The important aspect of Islam is to become insan, to become a human being. And when a person is a good human being, he's a good Muslim. And I think that sums it up. Hazrat Umar was a good leader, but he was a Muslim. He was a good human being, but he was a Muslim. So I think those qualities we need to bring within ourselves. Shukran, Sheikh.
Barakallahu fikum, Brother Hassan. I think was making compliments. And here we go to Hawaii. Somebody signed in as Hawaii. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, I'm called Mr. Ibrahim Africa Toure from the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Oh, you have a good leader, right?
Alhamdulillah, may Allah grant us to be good leaders like Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. We hope. What I wanted, first I would like to suggest before asking my questions, because I am really one of the people who loved the two Umars, be it Ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu or Ibn Abdulaziz, for what they did in Islam. First, I would like to propose our speaker, Sheikh Sheikh Asim, for
Asim.
Yes, Sheikh Asim, I would like to suggest, if you can allow me to get in private and speak to you for translating your books into French and Kiswahili, because you know the French world is not benefiting from the good things that we're from hearing, and also the Swahili world these days we're getting a lot of Muslims, and Kiswahili is expanding all over Africa. I guess it will be good to translate those books. The same to Sheikh Hassan Vali. He said he's also writing something about. I think we need to write about these guys, these big Sahabas, Khalid ibn Walid and others. Maybe by reading them and making movies, people will stop looking at Schwarzenegger and start looking at the big and true leaders.
My email is here.
Right.
I mean, I shared in this message column.
Okay.
I think
so much.
Brother Ibrahim will get in touch with Brother Ihsan, can give you the contact for
Yes,
brother.
yes.
Yes, I will share with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Then continue if you have any more submissions, please.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Sheikh, I was asking, in some countries that we have like people, because, you know, like the Democratic Republic of Congo, Islam is oppressed. And the bad thing is, you get that our leaders are not united. So when you try to put some things in the, as in you want to activate some activities, then you have these Islamic leaders who are blocking you directly or indirectly. What can you suggest to this type of, what can you suggest in that type of manners? For example, let me give a practical example. I am the president of the Muslim students in the University of Kinshasa. And for example, when I want to put in Tarawih, guys don't like finishing the Quran here. They, you know, there is this spiritual laziness. So I urged the last year that those who don't want, Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu, he made Tarawih easy for us. He didn't pray at the mosque so as people cannot take it, so as it can be a sunnah and not a farb. Then why can't you allow people to advance spiritually? For the one who will not be able to finish Tarawih, he can go back home and finish it at home. The one who's capable of finishing, alhamdulillah for his iman. So we have these imams who, like, they say, no, we have to go with hikmah, and we have 7 years always using hikmah without ameliorating ourselves. So what I see, the population is ready to hear me, but I'm trying to fight not to get in conflict with the imam, because the imam, he acts also directly. When I take the microphone, I start to explain, he can come up and take the microphone too. So for the sake of helping the environment not to be in a state of rivalry, I don't know what you can suggest me to do in this type of case.
Wallahi, these organizers have to, you know, direct this question to the right person. For example, Professor Anis is a man of wisdom, not like us. Is it right?
Yeah, but you as a leader, you can try to.
Maybe
it's a common question everywhere. You know, every Muslim community faces this kind of you know, situation. We need a lot of sabr, understanding, and you know, perseverance. So all these things can be solved through negotiations, and it takes time, not immediately. One generation, maybe the people, radicals will realize. As I mentioned in the presentation, there are 3 kinds of radicals, and one radicals, they just withdraw. They become tired, exhausted, and they withdraw. And then other radical, they are ready to change, and they realize their mistakes. So it takes time. You know, change takes a lot of time. Creating fitna is easy, but creating peace, building peace is not easy. It takes time. You need a lot of sabr.
So okay, thank you so much, because really, in my small experience, when I go somewhere where I don't have people who try to like block things. For example, I was once in Uganda. I got the chance to study there. I guess our co-host may know Kakungulu Memorial School, and yes, I got a chance to study from there. May Allah reward Ugandans. I mean, so there we had friends from Kenya and Tanzania and all that, but I used to give ideas, and we could go on forward easily. And this is, you know, that's why I remarked Ugandan Muslims are more courageous than we, the Congolese Muslims. Why? Because our imams, always talk of hikmah, yet that's not hikmah, it's laziness. So you've said it's good to have patience and have negotiations. I would like to get some options. Which type of negotiations should we go with? Because maybe we can talk and be direct in the problem, and the others will not understand. So I guess I don't know if we'll have someone who will come to show us communication in da'wah. If there is someone who will have that, it will be very good for us too. And if Sheikh Asim can tell us something, it will also be good.
Okay, I think we shall have more interaction. Brother Ibrahim will have more direct interaction with our brother Isan. Maybe we can find a solution regarding that situation from the resource persons that we have, who may be in better position to find some better solution, inshallah. Let's go. Yeah, let's go with Mawish Saba. You can unmute yourself and speak to us. Make it a bit shorter.
Thank you, brother. I have a question, like that under so-called democratic rule, how someone like Prophet Yusuf and Hazrat Omar can announce that he has capability to serve Ummah on the basis of experience or skill when normally it is being rejected? So this is my question.
From me, if I understood your question correctly, I would say, we should have a deep understanding of the context we live. The major mistake that we make, some of our people make, is that they straight away go to the time of the Sahaba. There are, human life has changed a great deal in many aspects. I would argue there was a battle of Jamal between the Sahaba. Unfortunately, we don't talk too much because the ulama don't talk too much. But if that happened in this period, this issue can be resolved through negotiations. Why that happened there at the time? Because there were no easy communication. So misunderstanding, there was a lot of chances for misunderstanding to grow, right? So we live in a totally different world, and we need thorough contextual understanding. Some people, what I feel that some people go to the time of Sahaba to get guidance, practical guidance for our situation. That's not the right way. Right? They go bypass. Bypass surgery. You fix a tube from to your heart, and you bypass certain areas and you pump blood. So this doesn't work. Islam didn't grow in Makkah only or Medina only. It took almost 500 years. So we just reject 500 years of treasure, knowledge, civilization, understanding, so many achievements. And we reject all these things and straight away go to Sahaba and try to find guidance. So in the present situation, we should have in-depth understanding of the current context. Then only we can come to solutions. So a leader in a present democratic context, in the time of Sahaba, there were no rules, no passport, no countries, everything is open, everyone can go everywhere. But here now, in our present situation, there is nation states, there are rules, different rules. So we have to follow that. a leader who comes, who emerges in the Muslim society, and he adopt a rejectionist approach, he can succeed. He will be easily knocked down. So what important for a leader is to understand the context he lives. So these kind of training programs will help in a great deal to build that understanding, build that awareness. Why? So that's what I believe. If properly trained, a leader will not, go away from the established and from the commonly practiced system of the present time. This is very important. So if a person understands that, he can easily become leader. We have so many people in the Muslim world, so many things are happening. Some of the things we don't know, but there are so many good things are happening in the Muslim world. People have deep understanding. They practice the rules. They go according to the context, and they achieve. So this is very important. Is it correct? Oh, did you get the point?
Okay, Barakallahu fikum, Ustaz. I think because of time, we cannot continue. We had even more hands in from the audience, but we wanted to have some like 10 minutes break because we are having another session starting exactly 10 minutes right away. We will not be able to push beyond here. Thank you so much, Ustaz Muhammad. Thank you so much for whoever has been able to log on and listen in. We wish you a very nice evening, wherever you are, or morning. Let's log on 10 minutes from now and be able to attend.
Sorry, can we have a memory, photo? You have to do that. I am not, everybody come.
I have taken. I will share with you.
Yeah, brother, okay. Have you already taken?
Yeah,
I think some are not. We can see some of them.
If you want to have another one, yes, someone, if you want to open their camera, they can open.
Okay, please, members, let's open our video
share in our...
so that we can have group photo.
Yes, please wait. First, we have 3 pages. Okay, done.
Okay, please share with us through our WhatsApp.
Yes.
Barakallahu fikum wa jazakumullah khair. Thank you everyone for making time to log on. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh Najjar, we welcome you. Inshallah, we will start after 8 minutes, inshallah.